What's up? I'm Bea and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another weekly decompression session. I hope you're having a good week so far. The first thing I want to talk about is Bethany Beale being pregnant. I would like to say congratulations to her if she ever watches this video. I don't know. I have a hard time guessing if people that I make videos about are the type of person to look at things about themselves or if they just want to ignore it altogether. I can't ever accurately guess that because I'm like, I literally just don't know. But on the off chance that she sees this video, congratulations. I know that she and her husband have been trying for a long time, and they also have dealt with pregnancy loss, which is always devastating. So I am very glad that she is pregnant and it seems to be going well, and I wish her all the best. I did see somebody leave a comment on one of my last videos talking about how, well, maybe that's the reason some of her content has been so sporadic, and by that they were referring to her promising to put things out and then not having it out, and just being kind of unreliable with deadlines. And I guess that could play a role in it, although she kept saying how it was written and it was completely done, but Dave needed to put it together. So I don't know, who knows. I love how the second I sit down to do this, Liberty, who has just been chilling for like the past hour, suddenly decides that it's playtime, but that's fine. In any case, I suppose that could be a reason that she was having trouble meeting the deadlines that she put out, because she's growing a human, her body's going through changes, you know, every pregnancy is different, everybody's experience is different, so that could definitely be part of it. The one thing I will say that I am not a huge fan of, though, is ever since she announced it, it's like everything is about her being pregnant and being an entrepreneur and, you know, being a stay-at-home mom. And of course she always had elements of that before, of wanting to be with her family, but it seemed like a lot of that before was like, yes, being a stay-at-home mom, but Dave, like big Dave, focusing on adult Dave, and now it's more about the kids. It makes me wonder if, because this next child is a girl, like they've announced that they are having a daughter, if Bethany is kind of thinking ahead of like, oh, well, we have girl-defined ministry, so now that I'm gonna have a daughter, I can incorporate like raising a godly daughter and a Jesus-following daughter and how to be the mom of a daughter who's a Christian. And she's kind of already spinning her wheels into what having a daughter could do for her business. I know that sounds like a little bit of a preemptive assumption to make on my part, but it's just kind of the opinion that I have based on what I'm seeing, because I will say with her son, her firstborn child, she shares him on the internet, but he's not like a cornerstone of her content. It's not like, look at my kid do this, let me watch let me film my kid doing this, take a look at my kid doing this. She doesn't seem to put him out there as much in terms of her content, and so it does feel like, yes, she makes a lot of content and like makes a lot of stories about being a mom, but it's about her being a mom and not her kid. And so I'm just hoping that she doesn't make that transition into showing her children more and making her children really a key focus of the content, because we all know that can be really dangerous. And so I would hope that she doesn't slip into doing that now that she's having a daughter. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. The next thing I want to talk about is The Bear, which is a TV show on Hulu. I watched the entire first season and I can't tell if it's good or not. Like, I enjoyed watching it, but I can't tell if it's a good show. It was very loud, it was very fast-paced, it was very confusing. I never worked in a restaurant, and so there were a lot of terms that I had to kind of pick up on as the show was going. I worked at a Jimmy John's for about 2 weeks in high school, and I quit because it was not for me, for many reasons. But that's the only like restaurant experience I have other than working at a concession stand, because my parents owned a concessions company, and so we did concessions for high school sports and like church events and stuff, and that's very different than what I feel like it must be like to work at an actual restaurant. So I don't know, I was confused, I was laughing, I didn't know what was going on. I recognized some landmarks because it takes place in Chicago. And, you know, I'll watch the second season, but I still can't say whether or not it was good. So if you watched it, I need you to let me know. If you enjoyed it, please tell me in the comment section. But on the flip side, if you watched it and you were like, no, it was a bad show, people just like it because they think the actors are cute, that would also make sense to me. I could see that very much being the reason it got so much hype, because I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter, and that's the whole reason I decided to watch it in the first place, is because people were saying not that they liked it, but that it was kind of an accurate depiction or like making memes about it. So who knows? The next thing I want to talk about is something that I'm very nervous about because I'm going to a brand new doctor tomorrow. I have been thinking about this for the past 2 weeks. The state of medicine in the US is just abysmal. And if you live here, like, you know that. We all know this. It's nothing new. But the reason I'm going to a new doctor is because, so I have endometriosis, I've talked about this before. You can either be on like birth control, or there's injections that you can use. There's a pill called Oralissa, which I tried for a few months a few years ago, and it was terrible. And so for me, I was like, I don't want to be on any of that medication. None of them were the right fit. And so what I've been focusing on is just making sure that I'm eating well. I'm not eating things that will make it worse. I'm taking care of my body. Like, I'm just trying to do what I can naturally. Not because I'm opposed to medicine, but because the side effects of all the medicine that they tried to put me on were worse. The pain relief that I got compared to the side effects that I had, it was just like, this was so much worse that I didn't want to do it. And so something that you can do, and the way that you actually diagnose endometriosis, is through a laparoscopy, which is where they put an incision on your lower belly and then one kind of on your pubis region, and they stick a laser in one of the holes and a camera in the other, and they go through and they laser off the scar tissue. And after I had my first laparoscopy back in 2016, my doctor said it was really severe and he wouldn't be surprised if I needed surgery within another 1 to 2 years. And for me, that sounded terrible, like the worst thing possible. It was so expensive the first time, and I was just like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to push this off. And so I haven't had another laparoscopy since then, and it's been about 1.5 years since I've been to my OBGYN, because since I'm in a monogamous relationship, you don't really need to do the whole like speculum thing every year. It's apparently every 5 years now, so we're delaying things, and I'm not on a medication, so he's not really actively treating me for anything. And I love this doctor, but the office staff, not great. And that can kind of make or break it for you. There was even one time that I went there and they were like, hey, we're running a little bit late, you know, things just kind of ran long. It's gonna be a while of a wait. And I was like, that's fine, I get it. But I ended up waiting for over 2 hours to go in there. And I'm like, I get like maybe being 30 minutes behind, but 2+ hours behind. You couldn't have called me and told me before I got there. You couldn't have said, hey, you know, we're really behind. Do you want to reschedule, or do you want to go do something and we'll call you when we're about to be ready for you? I don't know. I don't really know what's standard to do in situations like that, but it just wasn't handled well. And then when I got back there, it was just rushing because they were so behind and all that. And just, there's been a multitude of issues with the front desk. And so because I have been putting off this surgery for so long, it's kind of gotten to a point where I cannot function and continue to put it off. So I was like, all right, let's make this appointment. This doctor's office doesn't even answer their phone anymore. When you call, they say, like, due to a high volume of calls, we recommend you text us instead. If you want to wait for somebody, press 1 or whatever. So I did that a few times. I, pressed the button to try and talk to somebody, and it would just ring for a few minutes and then it would hang up. So I was like, all right, as much as I love this doctor, he's great. He's, he and his team were the first people to even have an inkling that endometriosis might be what was wrong with me. It's just not worth it when I can't get a hold of anybody and I have to drive like 45 minutes to get there because it's on the side of town that I used to live in as opposed to the side of town I live on now. And so I'm seeing a new doctor tomorrow, long story short, because I'm just gonna go in there and be like, here's all my medical records. Can I please have a laparoscopy? Can you please put me under, laser this off of me? I got to get moving and shaking. So fingers crossed that it will go well. Anyway, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about that. I feel like a lot of people can probably relate. I think when you go to a brand new doctor for something like a physical or a yearly exam and you don't really have any concerning medical issues, it's not as nerve-wracking, but when you deal with chronic pain or when you have something that not a lot of doctors are super well informed about or take really seriously, it can be kind of intimidating, and like, you know, you're gonna have to go in there and advocate for yourself, and you're gonna have to fight for what it is you need. And so you're like in the car, you're just gassing yourself up, you're like, I got this, go in there, be assertive. It's a lot. And for somebody like me, I don't love confrontation, I don't love being assertive. It took me a very long time to like even not talk back to a doctor, but for me to say, like, you're moving too quickly and I feel like you're not hearing me. I remember the first time I said that to a doctor, I about passed out just because it took so much buildup and gall for me to even say it. But that's what you gotta do when something's going on, when you need answers, and so if that's what I have to do, that's what I gotta do. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll go in there and it'll be smooth sailing and he'll just be super knowledgeable and he'll take a look at me, take a look at my stuff and be like, yeah, let's do it, and all will be well. The last thing I want to talk about is Ladyboss, because Caitlin announced today that Russell Brunson was buying Ladyboss. And if you don't know who Russell Brunson is, he is the founder of ClickFunnels. He's an MLM guru. He's spoken at a ton of different MLM events. He's just kind of a hun. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I don't see that as being a positive thing for Ladyboss. I think that they will, you know, continue to sell products, and I think that business-wise it'll probably do well. But I don't think that's good for the customers, and I don't think it's good for the employees. So that definitely is something that I'm not surprised by, but I'm not feeling great about. And on top of that, I did get a few additional emails from people who used to work for Ladyboss and were in the Ladyboss community telling me their stories and their experiences. And reading some of the things they said, I was just shocked. Again, not surprised, but shocked that people were treated like that and expected to behave in the ways that these people were expected to behave, and it was just all supposed to be okay. So if you want me to do an additional video on Caitlin and Ladyboss and the kind of culture that was formed there and that lived in that environment, definitely let me know, because I can do another video. I was given permission in those emails to share the people's stories, so if you want to hear firsthand what they went through, let me know in a comment and I will make that happen for you. Next week I am putting out a video about Brittany Dawn becoming a foster parent. I'm not going to get into it now because I raged pretty hard in that video. That'll be coming out Monday. If you're a member of my channel, you will get your link to view it on Monday evening, and then if you're not a member, it will be released to public on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that, and then we'll just see what happens from there. Lots of kooky things are happening. The world keeps spinning. It seems like it's spinning out of control sometimes, but we're just going to keep doing what we can, right? Let's just keep plugging along and taking it day by day, because you never know what's going to happen. So leave me a comment down below letting me know what you thought of all of these topics. Did you like the bear? Is it good? Please help me. And while you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you're subscribed already, thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one.